That's nice.
Obviously, JP is someone who I'm assuming, work with the most now.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of his music. I know we're going to have listeners that are going to listen to this podcast because of him and through you. So I wanted, like, how'd that relationship get started?
So it's probably like 7, maybe 8 years ago. It's a publisher friend of mine, Tiffany Starr, who used to was my point person at Primary Wave.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, she was just like, oh, I want to introduce you to like 2 people, these 2 writers who I think are really cool. And one of them was this girl, Desi, and one of them was JP. And she played me his music, and I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. And so we started working together. And I mean, at the beginning, it was mostly like he would come in and write anytime I could get like an artist session where I was like, oh, this is like a big session. Like I'd pull JP in because I was like, just gets it every time. And really, like from the first time I met him, I was like, oh, you're the best lyricist that I know. I mean, and just like my type of lyrics. Like it was really like saying the things he felt. It didn't feel coded up.
Nope.
It just felt like
I mean, that's
emotions
what I was saying earlier,
communicated in such a beautiful way. And like, and I've derived so much of like my own writing style, you know, not that I'm anything near JP in that fashion, but like just my taste, a lot of that has come from working with him.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we started doing that, and then like maybe 6 months or a year in, he was just playing me some stuff, and he was like, you know, I want to do my artist stuff too, and played me a couple songs, and it was just
no brainer.
All of the songs you were just like, oh my God, like that's amazing. You know, he played me the few things basically in its entirety. We worked on like a post lyric and like this. It's like for the most part, JP is
like he had that kind of ready to go.
In general, he is writing 97% of his songs.
Right.
I mean, here and there, you know, more, but like so much of his identity is packed into it. And you know, I'll probably get lost here, but like, you know, he journals and writes from that.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, it's truly lyric first. It's like you'd show up at breakfast and be like, oh, I wrote this the other day. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. And then it's to the studio and figure out what the chords are like. And so, yeah, I mean, from there, I think another thing I really learned was like how to produce around songs, because he'd play these songs and my approach up until that point was like some form of like a loop-based producer.
Right. Like,
you know, there was the exception, but a lot of it was like beats and this thing gets flown here.
That's what so much pop music was around that time too.
Yeah.
It was every session was a loop.
Right.
And I'm so happy I don't write like that anymore.
Yeah, so I think it took us a minute to figure out that like his music just needed that the through line necessary was him just playing an instrument.
Yeah.
You know, and like, you know, the few things, it was like there were a lot of versions of that song.
Yeah. It's funny. So I'm glad we're getting it, because this is one of the songs that